Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Well, this school year has brought us a lot of firsts, and tonight's no exception, as everyone tries their very best for this first virtual DHS Athletic Awards celebration, where we will recognize the achievements of our students and celebrate the success of Dryden High School's sports program.
Thank you goes to Jeff Zilkins and all his crew for your behind-the-scenes roles in putting this event together. As principal of DHS, I would like to acknowledge that we come to you today on the traditional Indigenous lands of Treaty 3. I want to pay my respects to the elders past and present and extend the respect of myself and the school to any Indigenous First Nation and Métis people taking part in this celebration of sport.
It doesn't matter if we're here talking about a team sport or an individual sport. We're all in this invaluable position because of the remarkable staff who deliver our programs. Teachers, coaches, and mentors show a level of dedication and passion that builds our culture of success across all our sports over the years. I hope that everyone appreciates just how valued they are and how much they personally sacrifice their time and commitment to DHS sports program with no compensation or personal benefit, but just for the satisfaction of helping our athletes build strong character that will serve them well as they continue their pathway through sports, education, and a career. I know that the athletes, the parents, and our community today will hear from the coaches about their stories of dedication, diligence, surmounting great challenges, and the success of some individuals. These deserve to be shared and celebrated. But let's not forget the players not mentioned tonight that helped their teams and the athletes winning the awards today. Without them, there is no team, no one to pass, to help defend, no one to practice with. These unsung athletes support the team in a variety of roles, from a redshirt practice players to bench players and rookies. They all played a significant part on their team. It's sometimes tough to be sitting on the bench or in the stands, but your dedication, your resilience, and your perseverance will serve you well into the future.
You are being rewarded for your talent, your dedication to your sport, and for being outstanding examples of what can be achieved and the role models for others. Please stay safe, remain healthy, and for everyone, all the best.
2020 Eagle Awards banquet will be unique. Over the years, we've come together dressed formally, we've worn costumes, we've been at the Legion, and we've been at Dryden High School. This will be our first online event. While we lost badminton, soccer, and track and field this year, we do hope to fly again soon as Eagles. In the meantime, we thought it was important to recognize the great efforts of the athletes that did get to participate this year and continue the tradition of the banquet. Hello, I'm Jeff Zilkins, Athletic Director at Dryden High School, and thus begins the 2020 Eagles Awards banquet. Before proceeding with the trophy announcements themselves, we would like to first take a pause and recognize two Eagles that we lost this past season. Mark Luley attended Dryden High as an athlete in his time and became an excellent father, fan, and supporter of our program. His son Jacob excelled in volleyball, golf, hockey, and soccer, and during this very awards banquet last year was named our Athlete of the Year. While both are no longer with us, their legacy as Eagles will continue forever. Please take a moment to reflect upon these two great men as Eagles. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Coach Desert, and I was given the opportunity to join the Dryden High coaching staff this year, and I coached the junior boys volleyball team. My first year of coaching brought back memories of myself playing as an Eagle at Dryden High. It also gave me the opportunity coach alongside my son Brady Desire, who was my assistant coach this year. The junior boys volleyball team had 3 returning players from last year's team and gave opportunity for new athletes to show their talents. I'm very proud of this group of boys who's joined together, and it showed on the court. We attended 3 tournaments this year, and the boys improved with every set. Our final tournament was in Thunder Bay against the Sioux North Warriors. We played against them in the A-side finals, but they defeated us in 3 sets, with the final 2 sets going to extra points. We continued our rivalry against the Sioux North Warriors, facing them in the North finals. Again, the boys fought hard, but again, the Sioux North Warriors came up victorious. I would like to thank everybody for the opportunity to coach this year and appreciate all the mentoring and support I received from fellow coaches and parents. This year, one student stepped up and became a leader, and through personal hard work and determination, led this team to be as successful as it was. This year's recipient of the most valuable player is Ethan Cook. My selection for most improved player this year is a young man who was committed to this year's team. Every practice and every game, he tried his hardest to learn new talents and supported his team on the bench every game. At one point in the season, he was struggling keeping his schoolwork, team commitment, and work commitments, so he decided to ask for a layoff from work so he could concentrate more on 2 things. This year's recipient of the most improved player is Nathaniel Shabakwe. Thank you, boys. It was a great year.
This year I had the privilege of coaching the junior girls basketball team. Great bunch of girls. They worked very hard. Every one of them had a strong work ethic and just continued to learn as we went. We have a very strong offense, very big in the paint, and we have excellent defense. This year in the championship, we just ran out of gas, but I'm sure the championship will be ours next year. Our most improved player was also a candidate for most valuable player. Every day, from the first day of practice to the championship game, she was always looking for a way to improve her game, trying to find that edge so that we can win. She was also our captain. Okay, she improved the most in her leadership abilities, to carry a team and to stay calm and make sure that the team stays focused. She improved so much in her actual physical game. Her defense improved, her offense improved, and just her ability of way to manage the court and manage the team. To see great things for her as she continues on. She was a vital part of our offense, and can't wait till next year because I know this girl is continuing to work on her game over the summer as well. That is why our most improved player this year is Fiona Cook. This year's co-MVP is a girl that worked very hard on defense all year. She's instrumental in playing strong defense, but it wasn't what she did on the court that made her stand out. This girl put the team first in almost every aspect, always making sure the first aid kit was there for the girls, creating a flu first aid kit in case someone got sick at the hotel. She also looked after her teammates. She was always the last one in the locker, making sure no one forgot anything. She also would make sure that the locker rooms were kept clean and neat so that it showed respect to the other schools that were visiting, that the DHS girls were respectful in all that matters. She also would take under her wing some of the younger students, younger players. She also helped a lot of the players just with things that they would need. It didn't go unnoticed. Things like if certain students forgot their bank card one time, and she made sure that she paid for their supper and made sure they got something to eat. She always tried to make sure all the girls had their water bottles and just little things like that. She went over and above just to help the team out as a whole. So the first MVP is Emma Gardner. Our MVP was a grade 9 student. She was a definite standout. Offensive machine. She scored many points. Was our top scorer in most of the games. She was very coachable, incredibly intelligent on the court. Many times she would come off the court and tell me exactly what they were doing, and she would recognize what the team was doing and share that information with her teammates. Very coachable, very smart on the court, very talented. Next year I expect great things if she does stay with junior. The senior team is looking to recruit her very badly. I'm just so proud of her, and she works very hard, and I couldn't ask for a player that works very hard on and off the court. The MVP for the junior girls is Caitlin Varioki.
Coach Bones, MVP of the junior boys basketball team. Who did we settle on?
Dominiqua, a.k.a. Dom.
Yeah, I think we had to clarify for everyone, although I'm sure most folks knew who you were talking about. For me, we kind of had to make Dom the MVP, just seeing how he stepped up for us in big games. We played in some really tight, intense games this season, and like playing an overtime game, double overtime, just seeing how he was the only guy who wanted the ball late in those games. It stood out for me.
Yeah, he stepped up to the plate for us in multiple games and knocked down some threes. Don't let that go to your head, Dom. It's you do your thing, but that's what he was doing. He was killing it out there on that for us.
Yeah, and he almost brought us back in the championship game. Certainly, it was a team effort, but he was a leading force behind that, driving things on the offensive and the defensive end as well. I was also struck by, we had a player injury the one day in practice, and as we ran over to kind of start doing some first aid, Dom immediately took over the drill and really flashed that leadership that we were hoping to see from him this season, and he demonstrated it there.
Yeah, stepped up to the plate on all accounts in my books.
Yeah, so excellent work, Dom. You're the MVP this season.
100%.
Coach Bones, most improved player. Always the toughest award for me, because my goal is to have everyone improve.
Yeah, definitely. I want everybody to get better. And that's why we do what we do.
But who did we settle on this year, Bones?
Lil Cook, Mr. Ethan, HP.
That's Ethan Cook for folks who don't speak Bones. What stood out for you? When did you kind of figure out that Ethan was the one who made the most strides this year?
Like his determination to get better, and you could just see it. Like he would step up in games where last year he was unsure of himself. This year he was taking more shots, driving to the lane, and he even stepped up on defense for us on more than one occasion, especially against Sulik out there, their big guy there, number 33 or whatever. When he was killing us, Ethan was one of the guys who would put a stop to him scoring on us.
Yeah, a little bit of the dog in Ethan Cook, not afraid to level some fouls on some folks. For me, Ethan, he kind of struggled early in the season. We thought he was going to be a starter for us, and he struggled finding his rhythm in that role. But once we shuffled him to the bench, and he kind of became the leader of the second unit, and then he would also finish games for us. I thought that he absolutely exploded for us in the Thunder Bay tournament, and that was a huge part of us having the best finish that we've ever had in the Thunder Bay tournament since I've been coaching.
exactly. And moving him to the bench, he became more hungry, I think, too, and he became one of our best players off the bench. He was like our sixth man. He was irreplaceable this year. So,
Absolutely. So, Ethan, way to step up to the challenge and really improve yourself as a player. Congratulations, you're the most improved player.
yeah, buddy.
First off, we'd like to thank everyone for such an amazing year for us being first-time coaches. We'd like to thank our athletes and the parents for such dedication throughout our season.
I would like to start by announcing our most improved athlete for this season. So our most improved athlete goes to a girl that led us to a win by serving 17 consecutive serves in a row. She has the ability to play every position and developed a newfound love for libero mid-season. By the end of season, we realized that her jokes and dance moves were just as awesome as her hard serves and perfect passes. I would like to announce that the most improved athlete for the junior girls volleyball 2019-2020 season goes to Megan Peters. We're looking forward to see what Megan achieves in the seasons to come.
Our most valuable athlete goes to a girl whose leadership skills flourished throughout the season. It was so inspiring to watch a captain have so much love for each individual on her team. Kennedy is someone whose teammates could always rely on her on and off the court. And float serve sure was killer by the end of the season. I hope you always remind people to follow the herd and continue to be a leader throughout your life. Congratulations to Kennedy Campbell for winning our most valuable athlete award.
Again, we'd just like to thank everybody for making this a great season, and we sure are looking forward to the next one. Hey, Callie, wait for me! Come on!
There's a phrase to the effect that sports doesn't teach character, it only reveals it. We as football coaches don't necessarily believe that. We like to think the time we spend with these young fellows helps them turn into good, responsible older men. The 2020 most improved football player has had his moments over his first 3 years with the program, where sometimes his temperament matches the stereotype that goes along with his hair color. But three things really led to his selection as our most improved player this past season. The first, he played consistently tougher than his weight would suggest he would be able to. Second, in the quarterfinal, after making a game-sealing interception, he happened to pass in front of the opponent's bench, where a group of obnoxious, poor sportsman athletes tried to goad him into a penalty or a fight. In grade 9, we're not too sure how that would have turned out, but last fall, his behavior was excellent. He then took that into the semifinal, where when the game was out of hand a little bit and our season looked over, we were running low on defensive linemen. When asked for a volunteer to come and play on the defensive line and take on the 250-pound plus lineman, our 140-pound safety quickly volunteered and had a great time and forced the opponents to adjust to his speed and really changed the game and had fun while doing it, exemplaring a great attitude. The most improved player in football can come in many forms, and this year's winner, Carson Bebo, found a way to make it unique to himself. Congratulations.
I've been asked to speak about Cohen Taylor, the Dryden Eagle football lineman of the year. Cohen was a great guy to coach. He always brought two things to the practice when he came: his lunch bucket and a smile. Well, most often a smile, some days, But by lunch bucket, he always gave his best. He always worked hard at what he had to do, more or less. He was a joy to coach. Had a bit of a time convincing him to come over to the offensive line, having had great success over at the defense. And I'm so glad that he got the opportunity, took advantage, and found out that it's fun to play football whatever side of the line of scrimmage you're on. But Cohen, man, oh man, he would hit guys, they would remember it. Big fella who could move fast, long, lean, and lanky, some would call him. I'd be one of them. Cohen, I wish you all the best, and thank you so much for bringing your talents to the Dryden football field. Go Eagles.
Take a little break from doing firewood here to present our most outstanding lineman from the 2019 season, Cohen Taylor. Congratulations there, bud. You did a great job for us. Played both offense and defense. It's an ability that not every player can do. You're a great guy to coach. We really enjoyed you coming out, and wish you well in your future endeavors. And thanks a lot, Cohen. Better get back to work.
All right, so we're here virtually. We're virtually here for the award ceremony that isn't really happening, but it's totally happening. It's been a kind of a crazy year this year. Certainly this year was a big deal for us. I couldn't do as much with the football team, but John took over in my stead and filled in quite nicely. And so we're here to give the 2019 football season defensive MVP. John?
Brody McMurray.
Brody, you did a great job out there this year. We're proud of you. Best of luck on all your future endeavors.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure of mine coaching over the last 7 years. Best in luck in life. I'm sure the leadership skills you demonstrated on the field will set you on the right course.
Go Eagles.
Go Eagles.
Hi there, it's my pleasure to present to you the 2019 winner of Eagles football offensive MVP. Offensively, we struggled definitely out of the gate. We had a tough couple first weeks until about week 3. We scooped one out by Kenora, and then after that, really the offense started to roll and put up some points. And that's definitely not due to only one person's work. Football is the ultimate team game, as they say. So yeah, we had definitely had a few players that we could award this to. Football coaches, and not just football coaches, coaches love players who love the game. They love players who will do anything to help their team win. And I'm sure you've seen by now who we're highlighting here. The man running the ball there, number 35, Nick Panett, who's definitely an example of just that. This guy is he's a 4-year vet, one of our captains who led us definitely by example on the practice field, not just a game field, practice field as well, every day at practice. And really, he's a guy who would do anything. He's a starter on defense, on for every play on special teams. This year, he took on an additional role and became a big part of our offense as well as from the ace positions. So he was tops in rushing yards, receiving yards, and Nick's just a guy who we knew if we needed those tough 3-4 yards, he was going to do whatever it took to get it. So great teammate, great player to coach. He was selected to the Senior Bowl for the Winnipeg High School Football League. Just a tough physical runner, a great athlete, a player who just loves the game, and definitely a well-deserved award for number 35, Nick Panett. So while we watch one of Nick's big plays here, I'm going to have a glass of water in his honor since he got so few water breaks throughout the season from staying on the field the whole time. I'll let everyone watch this magic here. And it's my honor to present to you the award for 2019 Offensive MVP for Eagles football. Congratulations, Nick, on an amazing season and an amazing career as an Eagles football player. Best of luck.
Hi guys, so this is the 2020 athletic banquet, I guess, at my dining room table. So I'm here to present the cross-country running awards. There will be no track and field awards, sadly, because our season never really happened. Sadly, I miss you guys. It was gonna be such a good year. But anyway, so I'm gonna start with cross-country rookie of the year, and it's going to a grade 10 who just worked really hard and improved really just a whole lot this year. It's going to Megan Peters. Congratulations, you worked so hard. You made it to all the meets that you could this year, and you just despite being out of your comfort zone at some points, you just really pushed through and worked really hard this year, and your skills really developed. I was really happy to see all your hard work, and yeah, even though you still hate running hills, hopefully we can work on that next year. So now I'm gonna do the most valuable. The most valuable for cross country this year is shared. Totally deserved. This is legit. I couldn't choose because you guys both just killed it this and every year in the past. So it's going to Mason Brown and Gavin Wisniewski, who just worked super hard. They make it to every practice they can. Even if they can't find me, they run on their own in a rainstorm. It's just, they persevere, man. And I've been coaching them for their whole high school career, I think. And it's just been a thrill to see them work super hard and meet their goals and just be themselves, because they're awesome. Anyway, so that's it, and I guess that's it. Hope we get to see everybody soon. Bye.
The girls golf MVP award goes to Lauren Bell. Congratulations. She finished first here in Norwassa, winning her title to go to NWASA, where she got a bronze medal. Good job, Lauren.
I hope everyone is keeping safe during these unprecedented times. Keep up the physical distancing. Did you know golf is one of the safest recreational activities during COVID-19? So hit the links and play around. This year's boys golf MVP had a scoring average of 83 during the season and finished third overall in Norwassa competition. Congratulations to Liam Jones.
Hello everybody. I'd like to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about the Nordic ski season, and I'm going to be able to offer a couple awards tonight, firstly for MVP and secondly for the most improved player. So it's been a great season. I want to thank everybody who was on the team this year. It was a much smaller team this year. We had a lot of kids that graduated, and we had some new skiers come along, but we were about half the size of what we have been in the past. But despite that, it was a great season, mostly due to the warmer weather. It's been a while since we've had a nice warm winter like this, and so it was a pleasure to get out in the trails to train and to race. So I'm awarding MVP as well as most improved today, and I'm going to start by just letting you know who received those awards, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what the season was for those people and the team overall. So firstly, for most improved, this player is a new skier this year, and but came along really well with his technique as well as his ability to kind of concentrate on the race and do what's needed to be done. And so Barrett Edinburgh is our most improved player for this season. So congratulations, Barrett. We're going to talk about some of your results and achievements in just a little bit. Then secondly, for MVP, this year I was not able to split between or down to one person. I've done my best to try to have one MVP, but this year I just really couldn't. And so this year I'm putting the MVP award to two different people. Firstly, Nick Peters, and the second recipient is Liam Jones. Both of those are very deserving recipients. Both of them are fantastic team leaders. They're also fantastic athletes and dedicated to skiing, dedicated to doing what they can to improve and just to be excellent sportsmen. So, as I said, it's been a great year, temperature-wise. Our first race was actually canceled, but mostly due to budget cutbacks from last year. And so it worked out okay because we didn't have great snow conditions for that anyways. So our first race ended up being in just after Christmas break in January in Fort Francis. This was by far the coldest race. And so I said it was warm for most of the winter, but we did have a pretty darn cold race there. It was almost canceled due to the cold weather. And that made the snow like sandpaper really, and it was pretty slow conditions. However, overall, we did really well. And that first race was really dominated by Red Lake, and it was a good eye-opener for us to realize the amount of training and the amount of dedication that the Red Lake team has put into their ski team. And so that was kind of a eye-opener and a good way for us to gauge how we were going to do through the year. And Red Lake has certainly upped their game. So in Fort Francis, Barrett skied the 5.5 kilometer course and ended up in 4th place. And so that was a good start for his race season. Nick ended up in 2nd place, and Liam ended up in 5th place. And as I said, Red Lake took pretty much the rest of the top 6 positions. And so we did very well to maintain those spots. We had a turkey burner shortly after that. That's a Dryden Loppet kind of a community race. And so we had some more opportunities for the kids to practice their starts and to get some mileage on. Then we went to Norwassa just before the exam break. And in Kenora was the Norwassa race. And we had Barrett ending up in 6th place. He was able to complete the course in just under 21 minutes. And so again, a little bit of an improvement in time, partly due to the temperature and the conditions, but also due to his commitment to train. In the senior boys, Nick ended up with 4th, and Liam was right behind him in 5th place. And again, the challenging Red Lake team took those top spots. And so that was Norwassa. There was nothing until after the exam break. We had Nwassa in early February, and in that we had Barrett ending up in 5th place, so improving his position, and he skied in about 18 minutes, which again was an improvement in his time as well. And so we were in Atikoka, and the conditions were really nice. It was quite warm, and the conditions were nice and hard and fast. So for the senior boys, Nick took 3rd place, and Liam ended up in 4th place. So again, neck and neck throughout most of the season, and doing very well. We always have gone to the Sleeping Giant Loppet as a season wrap up, and we were again there this year. Nick wasn't able to go, excuse me, due to some prior commitments, but Liam and Barrett were certainly able to go. And so Barrett ended up doing the 8 kilometer course, and he did it in about 32 minutes, which is not a bad time at all. And he ended up actually in 5th place out of 56 in his age category. So well done, great way to wrap up the season. And again, another indication he's certainly improved significantly through the season. So congratulations, Barrett. As I said, Nick wasn't able to go. Liam decided it was time to try to ski the 50K. And if anybody's been to Sleeping Giant Loppet, that's a pretty brutal course. And so he ended up doing it. He skied the 50K free, and he did it in just under 3.5 hours. It was a warm day, so by getting close to lunch hour, it was getting pretty sloppy. I think the conditions were getting pretty darn slow. All of us were well off the course by that point, and relaxing, but we hung around, and I congratulated Liam on his 50K ski. He ended up 50th out of 91. He was by far one of the younger skiers out on the course. Most of them were elite athletes from the northern states or all across Canada. So congratulations, Liam, on stepping up and doing that. That's a great achievement. And so, as you can see, all these guys are very deserving of these awards. So again, congratulations to Nick Peters and Liam Jones for MVP, and congratulations to Barrett Edinburgh for Most Improved. And again, I just want to thank everybody on the ski team for a great season. We had a great time out on the trails training this year at the Dryden Ski Club with the warm conditions. It was a pleasure to be out there and just training and putting on some miles with you. So looking forward to next season, and just hope you all have a great summer, and take care and stay safe, and we'll see you very soon.
So now it's time for the MIP award for the boys 2019-2020 hockey program. It was tough. We had a lot of young kids on our team this year, and for the most part, they all stepped up at some point in time during the season. But we feel that as the coaching staff, we had to select an individual that was year-round, showing improvement, consistencies at certain times, and improving on those consistencies. So with that being said, we mulled over all of our guys, and we thought that the man that showed the most improved play during the season was that of Brandon Gustafson. Reason we selected Brandon was that he was steadily improving, always, taking advice from the coaches and applying it to his game, and that's all you could ask for. And it's not like he was the only first-year guy that did it, but we had a lot of first years that stepped up and competed when they were asked to. But we kind of like Brandon's play, whether it was battling for pucks, making hits when they were there to take, and we felt that he was a consistent player who steadily improved all year long. So that's why we selected Brandon as our most improved player, and we wish him the best. So in this age of COVID and everything else going on, and the unfortunate events that are happening here, it's my duty and my honor to present the most valuable player for the 2019-2020 DHS Eagles boys hockey program. As the staff were mulling over who we should select, we always go through leaderships on and off the ice, whether it be through actions, words, anything like that. We kind of mulled it over, and we thought the man that showed these qualities year round was the guy we selected, and that player is Greg Mull. So it is a pleasure to present Greg with the MVP award for the hockey season we had, and the reason being is Greg is a tremendous leader, as I had mentioned, both on and off the ice. So we thought that he was your prototypical hockey player that most kids look to and kind of fashion their style after. We had a lot of guys that were of the different molds, but I think Greg is the kind of player that coaches love to have, and it's truly something nice to see every year when you have guys like that. And he just slid right into that position, and he did a heck of a job. So as I said, it's an honor to present Greg with the MVP for this season.
Hey there, time to talk a little hockey. Eagles girls hockey, that is. This past season, we were a very young team, lots of grade 9s and 10s, over half the team. So the girls had to do a lot of learning, and as coaches, we had to do a lot of developing and instructing. This season, the girls bought into what we were talking about. They bought into our Eagles way. We got into the playoffs. First round, we exited in 2 straight, which was okay. It was a good lesson learned for everybody. We'll be back next year, hopefully stronger with all these girls. I'd like to thank our coaching staff for their hard work, the players for their buy-in and commitment of our Eagles way, and the parents for their support. Now, let's move on to the award is the most dedicated player. The winner of this award is a player that put the team first. She did the extra to make herself better. She worked hard in practice. She worked hard in dry land. She did whatever she could for the team. This year's winner is Carissa Jensen. Congratulations. The award is the most improved player. This is a player who played last year as a winger. This year we switched her to center. There was some learning curves for her. As a center position, you have a lot of work to do. You have both ends of the ice you have to look after. So her skills got better and she got a lot more room to skate. She has that aggressive style to play center, and she improved throughout the year. She was one of our players who led in ice time towards the end. Unfortunately, she had a little injury in the end. But this year's winner is Kyla Calvert. Congratulations, Kyla. Next award is our MVP. This is a player who we relied a lot on. She's a player who could get us a goal, sometimes with just a rush of the puck, or a big shot from the point, or a big shot from the wall. She could do it all. She was strong defensively. She led the rush. She led our power play. She was our quarterback on the power play as well. This year's winner, Julia Jones. Congratulations, Julia.
Since I started coaching volleyball, I have coached teams with varying team dynamics. I have coached teams that felt like a large, close family, teams that have had a wide variety of personalities, teams that got along, and teams that didn't get along. This team was definitely a unique one. This team consisted of so many different personalities. We had the serious ones who were always thinking and asking questions, the not so serious ones who were literally hanging from the walls and asking if I wanted to see them do a flip, the intense ones who would show up at the morning practice 30 minutes early, the incredibly smart ones who would argue about who had the highest average in school, the accident-prone ones who usually ended practice with a bruise or a cut, and the always smiling and positive ones. This made for a highly entertaining, fun, and strong team. We ended the season with a 5-4 record and lost a heartbreaker to Fort Francis in the Norwassa semifinals at home. Even though we didn't end up reaching the goal we had set, I'm immensely proud of the growth I have seen with all of these athletes this season, and I'm looking forward to working with them again next year. This year's Senior Boys Most Valuable Player is a player that I would describe as dedicated, hardworking, focused, driven, intense, and immensely talented. He is hardworking and dedicated in all areas of his life and is usually seen doing homework in the stands or on the bus, or working a 5 a.m. shift on a Sunday after coming home late from a tournament, or setting up the nets at 6:15 a.m. in the morning when practice doesn't start until 7. He emerged this season as a leader both on and off the court. He had high standards for not only himself, but also for his teammates. I had the pleasure of watching his growth as an athlete and an individual since he was in grade 9, and know that he worked hard to develop his skills and game sense. This player has a no-nonsense attitude when on the court and was always working at 110%. He was an offensive force in both the front row and the back row and was relied on heavily in high-pressure games and situations. During one game in our season, he stepped up to play in a position he had not been training in and did not know very well. He rose to the challenge without complaint and excelled in the position, making it one of the best games our team had played all year. He could be found during a game, diving all over the floor, serving an ace serve, or getting his team a kill. This year's Most Valuable Player is Mason Brown. The second award for Senior Boys Volleyball goes to the player that has improved most throughout the season. This year's Most Improved Player is a player that you probably wouldn't notice on the court. He isn't the loudest, but he does get excited. He always has a look of concentration and focus on his face during a game. He is the guy who is always giving his teammates a high five, a pat on the back, a word of encouragement, or is telling a little joke to lighten the mood during a game. The first time I ever coached this player was when he was a junior player. A ball came from the other side of the net, bounced off the top of his head, and went straight into the basketball hoop. He had a slightly stunned look on his face, but I couldn't tell if he had done it on purpose or by accident. I pulled him off the court and asked him that exact question. He swore it was an accident. And at that point, I wasn't sure what to believe. Having coached him this year, I now know it truly was an accident, and this is just the type of thing that happens to Josh West. During a practice, he can normally be found hanging off a basketball rim, trying to climb a wall with Luke Turcotte, or making jokes with Bullock and Butts while I'm talking. But during a drill and in a game, he is focused and hardworking, asking questions, taking feedback, and doing his best to put that feedback into practice. This hard work and dedication showed in his gameplay throughout the season as he has become a key player on our team. He is good-natured, funny, and an absolute pleasure to coach. I look forward to seeing his growth and the role he will have on our team next year. This year's Most Improved Player is Josh West.
Let's see. To-do list. Get haircut. Check. Go for a nice walk. Check. And award Senior Girls Basketball Most Improved. This year, she's lucky that she's winning this award, quite frankly, because I had to go and find her to make sure that she would try out. When practice came, and the first tryout came and she wasn't there, I immediately sought her out in the hallways the next day and with both hands in the air said, "What are you doing?" And I found out it was nothing for just a little bit of lack of confidence in herself about making the senior girls basketball team that she didn't try out. And after alleviating those concerns, she showed up and did what she always did, and that is, since I've known her in grade 9, is use every opportunity to get better, use every lesson and every moment to improve on things, to take every new challenge as it comes without ever having a defeatist attitude. And as a result, by the end of the year, she was starting in the championship game, a game in which we won. So don't you do that next year, or so help me, I'll give this award to somebody else. But for this year, the award for most improved goes to Grace Douglas. This year, our MVP led us in basically every single way, on both ends of the court, offensively and defensively, in a year where we had some ups and downs from a lot of players, some injuries. She was the rock every time out. Every time we stepped on the court, she was the most competitive person out there. She, when given tough assignments of other players, she absolutely rose to the challenge and was instrumental in our success in the finals. She's been on the senior girls for the last 3 years, and we're losing her this year, but we would not have had any of the success we did this year without our captain, our team leader, our defensive stopper, the one in the box and one. This year's MVP is Emily Hale. This year, senior basketball's most dedicated is somebody I've had the privilege of working with for the last 3 years. Just a super kid, really easy to get along with, really coachable, really looks out for other members of her team. And the one story that always sticks out when I thought about who to give this award to was, we do a drill where you shoot free throws and you have to run the length of the gym as kind of punishment for missing. It can be pretty tough, but the thing about this team is that nobody wants to quit until they've made their allotted free throws. And Rachel is always the one who, once she's made her free throws, is going and encouraging those who are struggling and, telling them to keep going. And in this particular instance, somebody really needed to stop the drill. And, when I'm coaching 12 people, you sometimes miss things, and she made sure to get my attention in a very discreet way and say, this needs to stop. And I, of course, trusted her judgment, and we ended it. And she's just always looking out for her teammates that way. And so I'm really happy this year to give the award for most dedicated to Rachel Hart.
Hey everybody, hope you're doing well and staying safe. I'm here to present awards for senior boys basketball season this year. Quick season recap. We finished with 1 win and 8 losses. Obviously not the results that we were really going for. Just had some tough bounces. We had really a couple of close games with Beaver Bray, and we just couldn't pull it out in the end. And Sioux Lookout and Fort Francis were pretty strong teams this year, so we just really couldn't compete with them. Really looking forward to next year, as we were a young team, so I'm looking at the building on this year and making the progress necessary for next year. Hopefully you're out there taking shots and getting work in. The first award for this year is someone that deserves all the recognition that we can give. He's somebody that gave 110% in every drill and 110% every minute he was on the floor. In fact, he hurt himself a couple of times throughout the season because he put himself in harm's way by, not giving up on a loose ball, diving after something and kind of putting himself in a position where he could get hurt. This is somebody that, if you were to build the attitude around playing, you'd take a player like this every single time. Just yes sir, no sir. Great effort in every drill. I wish I had players like him every single year. It would make my job much easier. So the coach's award for this year is Mason Brown. Way to go, Mason. The second award that we're going to give out is Offensive MVP. This is someone who is really, really fast and really, really athletic, and were a threat to score the ball every time they touched it. They had our scoring high for the year against Fort Francis. I believe he had 26 points in one game, which is awesome. and he's only in grade 11. So I'm really looking forward to next year. We can build on the skills and stuff that we learned this year, and he's going to be a real big threat. So I'm looking forward to having him back. Congratulations to our offensive MVP for this year is Luke Turcotte. Thanks a lot.
This year marked the first year I had the honor of being the head coach of the senior girls volleyball team. I was excited to work with a hardworking, dedicated, and talented group of athletes. Having helped out for the past few years, I knew the girls and knew they were capable of great things and had the work ethic and desire to pull it off. Our season started off strong, with us winning our home tournament and going undefeated. We continued on to improve throughout the season, and our focus was on a Norwassa gold medal. But we ran into a bit of a stumbling block and had to persevere through a few challenges. The girls took this in stride and a positive attitude. We were all disappointed, but worked through it as a team. They stepped up as leaders and continued to work hard despite having to work with different coaches during practices, games, and tournaments. Although we didn't finish our season as we had hoped, I can't express how proud I am of this group of girls, their love of the game, their work ethic, and how they played during the Norwassa final. This year's most improved player is a player who has a genuine love of the game of volleyball. She willingly does whatever is asked of her for her team and always does so with a smile and a positive attitude. She was a leader both on and off the court, always cheering, whether it be from the bench or the court, organizing and hosting team bondings, or the making of team TikToks. This player could be found in the rec center, working on her strength and conditioning. This showed in her skill development and overall gameplay. She became a consistent player on the court and could be relied on during intense situations. She earned her role on the court by working hard, taking feedback, and developing her skills as a volleyball player, both mentally and physically. She was always receptive to feedback and was able to put the feedback given to her into practice. I can't say enough positive things about her as both a player and an individual, and would have loved to coach her for another year. This year's most improved player is Rochelle Arsenault. Our most valuable player this year eats, sleeps, and dreams volleyball. She is hardworking, dedicated, focused, respectful, and eager to learn. She was always asking what she could improve on or do differently, and would have stayed in the gym for hours after practice if I would have let her. She was willing to take on any role that was needed of her for the betterment of the team, and did so with a positive attitude. This athlete is extremely athletic, talented, and dynamic, and was able to play a variety of positions fluidly for us. She was our offensive force in both the back row and the front row. I saw her go from a more timid player who wasn't quite sure about taking risks to a confident, aggressive player who was able to take risks and step up when we needed her to. Our season was faced with a few struggles, and she stepped up and, along with her co-captain, led her team through these struggles, ensuring the team was always working hard and were committed to our end goal. She did this with respect for the players and always had a smile on her face. Due to her dedication, drive, strong work ethic, and true love of the sport, I know this player will do great things, and I look forward to watching her play at the post-secondary level at Lakehead University. This year's Senior Girls Volleyball MVP is Emily Heil.
Each year at the end of the agenda, we present the Big Six. For each of male and female, we award a Rookie of the Year, Sports Person of the Year, and an Athlete of the Year. Typically, the winner plays multiple sports and/or is dominant in something. Sports Person of the Year generally comes from grade 11 or 12 and plays multiple sports, but may be just known as a superior attitude, dedication, and relationship with those they play with and against. Our Rookie of the Year is someone from grade 9 who again excels in athletics and is a person that may play more than one sport. Our prestigious Athlete of the Year is someone who excels in many facets and is noticed for their skill, effort, and athletic smarts. In the rich history of Dryden High School, to be named one of these Big Six is a real honor. The winners are selected by a panel of coaches after they hear nominations and listen to the achievements from the perspective of those that they played for. Without further ado, here are the 2020 Big Six winners. Oh, what's this? Female Rookie of the Year. Well, I know who won that this year. It's not somebody that I coached, but I don't doubt that if she wanted to give it a try, she'd be quite good at it. I did, however, referee basketball for this individual, and as a grade 9, she had a very prominent role on the team and was exceptionally important in how their events went. Her only downside I could see as a spectator was that she got too many fouls, and that's only because she tried so hard. Played the defense a little tighter than it's supposed to be, but I'm sure she'll clean that up in her next 3 years. This person also played volleyball and was very instrumental in the success that team had. And I have no doubt that if the seasons had been normal, she would also probably excelled at badminton and soccer. I would hope that this individual recognizes the award for its value and recognizes it's only a start. This person has 3 more years at Dryden High School in athletics, and I think has a great future ahead of her if she keeps working hard to improve and compete as she has in this, her first year. Congratulations to the 2019-2020 Female Rookie of the Year for Dryden High School, Fiona Cook.
What up, Coach Bones? Carter McKinstry. He has been named the Male Rookie of the Year for Dryden High School this season.
That's what I'm talking about. Congratulations, Carter.
What is the first thing you think about Carter, and you cannot tell the little Cook story?
It's just he was always determined to get better at whatever he was lacking at in practice. He would take himself out of the layup drill to work on his left-hand side to get that down, or just focusing on his shots, his hungriness to get better at the sport whenever he was practicing or playing is what I remember of him the most.
Yeah, it really struck me when he pulled himself out of some of those drills to kind of not to take away from everyone else, and to be really able to focus on the concepts where he was struggling a little bit, and really showing that concentration on building up his fundamentals. I hadn't really seen that, and this year, we saw a lot of players starting to take that kind of approach, and I think that he was a bit of a leader in that regard. The other thing that struck me was just in drills in some of our early games, guys would try to drive at him, and like he was perfect moving laterally and stuff like that, and they try to like go through him, and like he's just a fire hydrant. Like no one was pushing him over.
Yeah, he stay hungry. He see a plate, he eat a plate.
No doubt. And I was also struck by just how some of the concepts that we could throw at him, he was finding ways to relate to other sports and stuff like that. Like certainly for inbounds plays and stuff like that, we could use him, and he was going to flash that quarterback arm in plays where, we don't necessarily have a quarterback in basketball.
Exactly. To me, it was like he would always pay attention, so he would pick up on the drills and all of that a lot quicker, and then just get the concept of what he was supposed to be doing, and even able to help some of the other kids learn the drill as well.
Yeah, definitely a leader. Another thing that was pretty comical to me was Carter told me he's going to dunk. And so, he certainly puts the work in on his body. We can see that. It'll be interesting to see if he puts in the work and gets those hops going, and see how close he can get. I'm excited to see him try to pull that off.
I want to see it by next year. Let's see.
All right. So Carter, congratulations on Male Rookie of the Year this past year at Dryden High School. You certainly earned it. The challenge is out. Bones wants to see you dunk next season. Let's get after it.
Keep grinding, bro. Do your thing.
Our Sports Woman of the Year this year is an individual who has a big, beautiful smile that never seems to leave her face. She is a positive force both as a teammate and as an individual. She displays all of the qualities a Sportswoman of the Year should, and then some. As the coach of an athlete like this, you feel honored to have them as part of your team. She is polite and respectful to her teammates, spectators, other coaches, referees, and opponents. She could frequently be seen smiling and chatting with players from other teams, both through the net or in between games. As a teammate, she makes sure everyone feels included as part of the team and ensures no one is left out. During our volleyball season this year, she stepped up as a leader and led with focus, positivity, and grace, as well as led by example. She took things in stride, and although at times things could have been very frustrating, she never stopped leading, being positive and polite, and never lost that smile. She wins with class and takes losses with grace. She is a role model for younger players, demonstrating to them what the qualities of a strong athlete and sportswoman are. I look forward to seeing what she does in the future and know that her positive outlook and strong work ethic will take her great places. This year's Sportswoman of the Year is Lauren Bell. Sportsmanship to me isn't only something you do, but it's really about who you are as a person. This athlete embodies the definition of sportsmanship. He displays sportsmanship during games to referees, teammates, opponents, coaches, and spectators. He also displays sportsmanship every day because that is just the kind of kid he is. I truly can't say enough great things about this player and his attitude and sportsmanship, but I will try to sum it up as best as I can. When I asked a few other coaches for some input, they gave me the following words: respectful, thankful, never misses a practice, 100% effort, supportive, passionate, has the best smile in the hallways, always willing to help, and he's inclusive. This player is polite, on the court, off the court, in restaurants, when traveling, and he is that way even when no one is watching him. Don't let his politeness and perma-smile fool you. He is one of the most intense and driven players I have ever had the pleasure of coaching. You can always count on him to get super pumped after a big block, kill, or ace serve, whether he did it or one of his teammates did. He is excited to be playing the game and is equally exciting to watch play the game. I have had spectators, parents, coaches, and referees all stop me and tell me how much fun he is to watch play. I am frequently asked, who is the kid in the glasses? As people commented to me numerous times on his sportsmanship, manners, passion, and work ethic. He is a kid who continually works hard to get better and genuinely is appreciative just to be playing. He is a perfect teammate as he always makes sure everyone feels included and is always up for a conversation with any of his teammates. He spends way too much money on shoes, has a huge heart, is thoughtful, polite, and an all-around wonderful person. This year's Sportsman of the Year award goes to Tristan Minot.
So every year, before the awards banquet, all the coaches are invited to attend a meeting where they discuss the big 6 award winners, the rookies, the male and female athlete of the year, and the sportsman and woman of the year. And this year, with everything else, I was unable to attend my 900th Zoom meeting of the year, and I missed out on putting forward my 2 cents for the award of female athlete. And that was really the only one that I had much of a stake in, being only that I coached the one sport. But I was really upset that I missed it because I really wanted to advocate for this person. So I emailed Mr. Zilkins right away and asked if I could still, share my thoughts on that. And I found out from him and other coaches that my 2 cents were not needed. This person was pretty much the unanimous choice for female athlete of the year. And not that there was not other great candidates for the award, but this person has been dominating this place in the sports world for the last 4 years. Since grade 9, she's been an important part of the team she's played on, and since grade 10, she's been one of the key components, and an MVP candidate every year since then, including winning a few. So she is a tireless worker, a great leader, fierce competitor, a really good athlete, a really good student, and a really great person. I'm thrilled to be able to present the award to her, and I'm sorry to see her go, and I look forward to hearing about all the great things she does in the future. This year's Female Athlete of the Year is Emily Hale.
Hey everyone, I am back and have the privilege of presenting the award for Male Athlete of the Year for 2019-2020 Eagles Athletics. The recipient this year has been a cornerstone of the Eagles athletic program throughout his high school career, having success in a variety of different sports over his 4 years. He is also a great example of what an Eagle athlete should look like. You know, he's hardworking, dedicated, a good teammate, and always respectful of other players, coaches, and officials. Obviously, he is also very athletic to win Athlete of the Year, possessing skills like coordination, power, endurance, agility, quickness, but physical characteristics are not what make Athletes of the Year. It takes a lot of intangibles as well. Things like hard work, dedication, a never quit attitude, good communication, and a desire to be better. This is what separates, great athletes from the rest of the pack. And our recipient this year has these characteristics in spades. His parents should be very proud. I know that I am when I am able to present the Male Athlete of the Year award to Mason Brown. Congratulations, Mason. You definitely deserve it. Way to go.
As we near the end of the program, I would like to take some time to thank the generous sponsors from the community who have helped us with this banquet. As it has been a novel year and in unique circumstances, we haven't been able to approach people as we once normally do, but we know our community is very supportive of us and we will always be grateful. We haven't named each individually because as we filmed and put this program together, we would not have had a complete list when the time has come. But again, I thank everyone that's done their part. I also would like to thank Paul Darling, who volunteered to put together this video and do all the technical work to make this a reality. It's very important, and if anyone knows my skills, you knew it wouldn't have come out nearly as nicely. The one donor I would really like to make mention of in this special year is the Luley family, who approached us with the desire to sponsor an award in this year and the years ahead, and I can't think of a better athlete and Eagle than Jacob to emulate, so thank you to those folks. For those of you watching, just a reminder, if you have been selected as a winner for an award this year, you can pick up your award at my house, 175 Wright Street, just behind our football field, and that can be done on Monday, June 22nd from noon until 8 p.m. You can call as well if you need other information, and we'll get you your awards. Thanks again for participating and doing this. Hope to see you all in person next year.